I'm recording this video on February 18th, 2022 at 7:21 p.m., Justin Trudeau has enacted the Emergencies Act, which grants the federal government emergency powers and, quote, from Wikipedia, even though I don't necessarily like them as a source, to declare a national emergency in response to an urgent and critical situation that cannot be dealt with by any existing law and either is beyond the capability of a private province to deal with or threatens the sovereignty of Canada. This is the first time that the Emergencies Act was used. Not unless you're counting the War Measures Act, which was the original bill that the Emergency Act replaced. And the last time that was used in Canada, I'm specifically talking about the War Measures Act, was under Pierre Trudeau and his administration. Justin Trudeau's father, although I like to think that he may have been Castro's son. There isn't too much of a difference if you actually look at the two. But they have kind of the same personality, or at the least they have the same tendencies of acting dictator-like. At this point, we shouldn't consider Justin Trudeau to be an actual prime minister. We should consider him to be a dictator. He is trying to use this Emergency Act to try to get rid of the Freedom Convoy, calling it illegal protest, a fringe minority made up of neo-Nazis, white supremacists, etc., 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 and constantly trying to defame them in the media. He's gone so far as to use the Emergency Act to freeze accounts of people who had supported the Freedom Convoy. And that includes getting rid of the Freedom Convoy's funding through Give, Send, Go. So I will not be able to fund any money, which I was planning to do, considering that Justin Trudeau sees the Freedom Convoy as a threat. They also gone so far as to arrest a few people. Two to three of them were organizers, and of the protest. Tamara Lynch and Chris Barber. At least that is according to Bitcoin.com. It's kind of funny how Justin Trudeau thinks that this is going to end the Freedom Convoy whatsoever. I think I wouldn't be surprised if a little bit of this arrogance behind him, or this use of the Emergencies Act, is due to the reporting in Canada. How supposedly the Freedom Convoy does not have a major support within the population. How supposedly 2/3 of people in Canada disapprove. When if you look at the support of the Freedom Convoy, it would be around 34 to 38%. That's a substantial number. Keep in mind, this is not the United States. This where there are two major political parties. This is Canada, where it's a multi-party parliamentary democracy, or at least it should be. And considering that, it would make up a pretty major faction within the parliament system. So big that it would be considered, if they actually became their own political party, to make up more than make up more of a majority than the Conservative or the Liberals. Not combined, absolutely not, but still, they make up that much support. And all these guys want is an end to the mask mandates, an end to the vaccine mandates, an end to all these mandates, and the end of the government tracking them. Because I've seen the footage of testimony from truckers where they actually were going to hand out their cards to the Canadian Border Patrol just in order to cross the border to the United States. For those of you to clarify, you actually need to have a vaccine mandate, or you have to wait 2 weeks, or vaccine card, or you have to wait 2 weeks before to prove that you have a negative test. And considering how much money is lost within the 2-week period, yeah, I'm pretty sure truckers are definitely against the idea of doing either. And plus, the testimony of the trucker says that apparently they don't need to look at the cards. They just need to look at the data registration. And this is coming from your own government, Canada. And at this point, I do not understand how Justin Trudeau thinks that this is a small fringe minority that could just be easily swept under the rug, especially with the amount of coverage from the mainstream media, whether or not it's good or bad. At this point, with Justin Trudeau and him enacting his emergency powers, as well as using them as a way as trying to end this protest, which he considers illegal, it's just going to grow more opposition against Justin Trudeau. If not today, or within the short term, definitely within the next election. And here's the thing. It will not end with the Freedom Convoy in Canada. The Freedom Convoy in Canada has sparked something. It has sparked something so big that it's now expanding to other countries. I'm not just talking about the United States, where there is definitely plans to have an actual Freedom Convoy to what's the word? To be bigger than that of the Canadian Freedom Convoy. It's not just that, despite the fact that the DC police are trying to prepare for that, but it's actually grown even in Europe, Vienna, Paris, Brussels. I would not be surprised if London and even in Amsterdam there's been some versions of the Freedom Convoy. I will not be surprised if it expands further, probably even into Germany, where they have such major lockdown issues. Or I swear they have a much more of a fetish for having a lockdown or mandates than any country as a result. And at this point, back to Canada. With the fact that already 90% of Canadians are vaxxed, it doesn't make any sense to have these lockdowns, to have these mandates anymore. Not unless it's as a means of control, as again, I stay with the trucker's testimony. If you guys want, I would be putting them down in the description below if you want to check it out. But already, provinces from Alberta, Saskatchewan, Quebec, and even a little bit with Ontario, even though the Premier Doug Ford is pretty much kissing Justin Trudeau's butt and he's supporting the Emergency Act, he's planning on ending some of the restrictions. That is a good portion of the country of Canada that is against you. A lot of the ministers are against them, at least half. And that Justin Trudeau expects this to end? Keep in mind, a recent poll showed that Justin Trudeau now has 16% support. 16% support. If that doesn't spell doom for him, I don't know what will. But his use of the Emergency Act will not give him any more friends. In fact, I say it's going to do the exact opposite. I think at this point, when I think about Sun Tzu, let me put up the quote here. When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. This does not mean that the enemy is to be allowed to escape. The object, as Tu Mu puts it, is to make him believe that there is a road to safety and thus prevent his fighting with the courage of despair. Tu Mu adds pleasantly, after that, you may crush him. If Justin Trudeau were actually smart, he would actually give the protest some crumbs, some leeway as a result, to actually make them feel as though the protesters are being listened to, that they can finally go home. But he didn't. He did not give them no way out. If he did, he would have sent in the police and then the protest would probably end. Just like that. There would be no support for the Freedom Convoy. But instead, he just decided to panic. Because he knows that the Freedom Convoy is a threat to him. It's a threat to his power. It's a threat to his party. Hell, the Freedom Convoy has been so profound that it has currently caused a major leadership change within the Conservative Party. That is, again, that's huge. That is really huge. The Conservatives now having a leadership change as a result of this Freedom Convoy, and the fact that a lot of Canadians are just completely done with the mandates. I believe that something will give it. Their tension is obviously growing right now. A lot of people are condemning Justin Trudeau and how he's handling the protests, how he's handling the use of the Emergencies Act, and how he's acting more and more like a tyrant. Now, I'm not saying despite the fact that he's obviously afraid, because, again, why would you use the Emergency Act? I'm not saying you shouldn't take this guy seriously. He is obviously a threat. He is, of course, the Prime Minister. But again, why do you think he's doing this? Remember what Razorfist said in his Black Pill video. Why would people go out of their way to tell you that there is no hope, that there's no salvation whatsoever, and that you're all alone? It's because you're not. It's because they're afraid. And that goes to show with the Freedom Convoy. The Freedom Convoy may end under the boot of Justin Trudeau. But I'm pretty sure it will invigorate more protests. Not just in Canada, but all over the world against the vaccine and mask mandates. My name is Noah Meehan on The Art Truth. Please post a comment down below. Like this video, subscribe, and share it for friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, such as how I speak or how long this video is, camera clarity, or whatever, please post it down in the comment section down below or directly message me. Thank you.
Almost head.